Dustin, let's kick things off here with, listen, things are wild and wacky in the world of stonks, and people are trying to ease investors' minds and things like that. And that is a topic of a story over on LSR right now.
Yeah, I feel like every week now we're talking about sportsbooks heading toward profitability, and I suppose this is another example of that, at least speaking to the market. DraftKings CEO Jason Robins, speaking at an investor conference, again, was talking about how it wants to have a higher win rate when it's dealing with sports bettors. Obviously, sports bettors don't like that, but sportsbooks are like any gambling enterprise looking to make money. So Robbins is out there, like the traditional hold we know from Nevada is relatively low, but sportsbooks are looking to expand that by pushing people to parlay, single game parlays. I can tell you by experience, single game parlays. I get a zillion offers a day from DraftKings telling me to bet a single game parlay. Probably, why? Because they make a lot of money from single game parlays. So so Robin's made some comments about this again, and it strikes the ire of the sports betting Twitter that wants to, we all want to be sharp bettors, we all want to make money, and DraftKings is just trying to get rid of us. So here, I'll just read one of the quotes. We're in an earlier stage environment, it's not the worst thing in the world to give people a couple extra winning experiences rather than trying to maximize how much margin we're taking. So it's an area of focus, but very deliberate. We're not looking to take money from people by forcing them into bets they don't want. So yeah, I mean, pushing people to single game parlays, for instance, people like single game parlays. They are the currency of social media right now, because they're ways to get spend a little bit of money on a single game and win a lot of money. They're obviously not profitable for the bettor on the long term, but this is again, this is the future of sports betting, is that it's sold as an experience, sold as something that people just like to do. Not everybody's trying to win and be a profitable gambler. I know you two guys are, but there's also this huge audience of recreational bettors who want to sweat, would like to take a small amount of money and turn it into a large amount of money. That's why the lottery is popular, right? So there's lots to unpack here, but it also is focused on, as all these companies are spending lots of money, they are constantly sending signals out there that they want to be profitable, and this is one example of that, I'd say.
And Adam, not to derail this, but on the single game parlay thing as well, I think one of the things that I think you and I probably knew anyway, just from anecdotally stuff that we've done over the years. I certainly know it from, our sister site, The Lines, over there, with the stuff that I do over there for them, specifically like Thursday night football, Monday night football, Sunday night football, all these island games and stuff. The single game parlay stuff is popular because most people only watch one game. And so if you can get multiple things going in one game, it's just better for that person's entertainment value, because a lot of people don't have the MLB package or the NBA package or whatever. And if you can just focus on the game that you're going to get in your local market, well, that's what people are trying to do.
And I'll put a bow on what Dustin was talking about with Jason Robins and DraftKings, and then get to your point there, Matt, because I think it's a great one about what is the utility of single game parlays, right? What we heard from Jason Robins was not new. It's the same sentiment that he's expressed in the past, and I think that there were some folks who were sort of aghast that he said the same thing again when it wasn't poorly received, or wasn't well received last time. And to those people, I would say, he's not talking to you. He wasn't talking to you last time. He's not talking to you now. He's trying to talk to hedge funds, to major investors, and say, listen, we have a plan to turn this thing around, right? Because obviously the stock price has not been in great shape of late. Now, those comments alone didn't magically overcome the trouble with the rest of the stock market that's happening for everyone right now, right? Like, I don't think it's possible to look at DraftKings in the micro without looking at everything in the macro with the stock market. Hashtag stonk advice. But when we talk about the DraftKings situation in particular, I think just keep in mind who the audience was for these comments from Jason Robins in the first place. Now, single game parlays, we need to keep in mind something else here. This is about how can we keep people engaged, period. And this isn't a matter of sportsbook operators saying, we want you to come in here and learn how to bet and become regular customers of that. It is a matter of right now, it is a knife fight to keep people's attention for 15 minutes. And when we do something like single game parlays that give people the opportunity to risk a little to win a lot, then they're engaged, right? Like when we talked about the idea of recreational bettors being the future of the US market, right at the beginning of this podcast, 151 episodes ago, we talked about the idea that it's going to be getting people who weren't engaged before interested. Well, the sports betting community can't dictate what people are interested in. They can try to be educational about what is profitable. They can try to be educational and say, you're not going to make money on these parlays long term. But you know what? No one playing Powerball is under the impression that they're going to make money on Powerball long term. There are questions about, predatory nature of certain things like that. But those aren't the questions we're trying to answer right this moment. We're trying to say, what's the idea with the popularity of single game parlay? And it's like you said, Matt, it's right in front of me. It's a Thursday night football game. I want to put $20 down to have something a little bit interesting about it. And I don't want to have to figure out what minus 110 versus minus 130 is.
Yeah, and people, you're on a and if you're on an NFL Sunday too, Dustin, just to point, like, your NFL Sunday, again, a lot of people don't have the NFL package. It's expensive. They're not going to the sports bars. They're at home. They're only going to get their local market game. So they're going to try to maximize what they can, how much they can bet on that game, that particular game, because that's what they're going to be watching, and so that's just the nature of casual bettors. It's the nature of how we're seeing this start to evolve here. Right. And so it's not going to change. I'll put it that way. So like, we can scream and we can yell and we can do whatever, but it's not going to change. I mean, like, that's just the way it is. My friends, we've talked about this multiple times. I'm from Louisiana. My friends just got sports betting there. Every single ticket that I get sent to my little group text message of someone happy about a winning bet is a 5 or 6 leg parlay that they've won. I mean, that's just what they want to bet. That's just it, and they're not sending me tickets of like, oh, I hit the minus 125, whatever. Like, that's not what they want.
Yeah. I mean, well, first off, I'm a Powerball sharp. I'm always ahead of the curve on the Powerball numbers. Despite never winning the Powerball. But yeah, like, people, like, I think it's lost. People don't love just grinding out sides and coin flips. Yes, if you have a lot of money, like, again, gambling is every time. Most of the people who gamble on anything want a little bit of excitement. And Adam said it perfectly. Spend a little bit of money to win a lot of money. Like single game parlays, again, any parlay is an example of that. Do people know you're probably not going to win? Yes. People play the lottery. People go to casinos. Nobody is under the impression that
stand around a roulette table.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a ball going around. There's 38 numbers on the thing. Like stand around a roulette table. I mean, it's just what they like to do.
Yeah. I mean, the only danger in sports betting is that people feel like they have an edge. And single game parlays, again, maybe like you look, oh, I see a correlation. Maybe I feel there's a little bit of danger in that from a responsible gambling. But it is again, just people want to have a sweat. So like, I can bet $1 and win a couple $100 maybe if I do this crazy parlay. Like that sweat is their entertainment, and maybe they win. Probably they're going to lose, but there's value in that. We like to sometimes we like to crap upon like stuff like that, where like the sports books are pushing you to that. But that's also, people wouldn't be betting them if they didn't want to bet them. Like as much as they push them, people are engaging with them, and that's why they continue to engage with the product. So.
And Adam, just to put a bow on it, where you were going with this as well. As long as there are entities out there, and there are lots of entities out there that are available to educate the bettor, to educate the casual bettor, all the different stuff like that. I mean, like, it's not like everybody's trying to pull the wool over anyone's eyes here or whatever. Like, there are people out there who say, hey, look, just so you know, you're not going to get true payouts if you were whatever, but it's, the penalty that you're paying because they're allowing you to make a correlated bet, which typically you're not able to do, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. It's like, there is, the information's out there. I know the casual bettor isn't always going to go seek that out, but it's not like it's this dirty, dark secret, right? I mean, it's out there, people. It's known.
It is, and obviously it doesn't get pushed the same way that parlay content gets pushed, right? No one's directing you to the disclaimer and the fine print. But talk about our friends, as you mentioned a moment ago, over at the Lines, who have great tools to be able to understand some of these things. We have some content at LSR now that is going to be potentially educating folks on things like that as well. We want to make sure that those things are out there and being offered. And I understand the gambling Twitter argument on the other side of this, right?
I do too. I do too.
The other side of this is you're pushing people into products they can't win at, but you're also... Your other argument there is that, well, then when you have people who are trying to grind out sides, you're not taking real limits, right? Like, you're not taking real prices on a lot of those, and that doesn't lead to a lot of balance in that ecosystem. Well, that's each book's decision, and in the long run, they're going to figure out whether or not that is a profitable choice for them. They're probably not going to be doing the same volume if they have that situation, unless they are driving a lot of casual engagement. And that's where these league partnerships and TV partnerships come in the long run, is that right now it feels like the wager from the sports books is on, we don't need to worry about limits for sharps nearly as much as we do getting more $50 same game parlay bettors in the door and creating volume on that end.